Steve Palazzolo, the co-host, Pro Football Focus, the NFL podcast. You can check out the podcast and go to profootballfocus.com. Their sale going on elite subscriptions, a great gift for the holiday season. And the promo code is Elite Up there to take advantage of that. Steve joins us now. Steve, you do this for a living where you're grading players and looking at all the film. What kind of season is Matthew Stafford having right now?
This is great. This was the season that I predicted for him. I thought I was going to lose it for a while, but my prediction was he was going to grade in our system in a similar manner as he did in previous seasons, which for us was low 80s, which is good, very good quarterback. But I predicted that his production would be a lot better in that system with the great receivers that he have. I didn't know Cooper Kupp was going to be as good as he's been this year, but I figured the system and the supporting cast would increase Stafford's production. And I think we're seeing that. Stafford has been good this season, had a couple of those rough games in the middle, the turnovers, the Sunday Night Football game against Tennessee. But overall, Stafford has he's made some big plays. He's missed a few open throws, had some turnover-worthy throws, but I think these last few weeks we're seeing the big-time throws that they got him for, right? The 50-yarder a couple of weeks ago to Van Jefferson, special throws into tight coverage. So overall, I think Stafford is having one of the better years of his career, but not as good as maybe he's a passer rating of 108 and, most productive passing offense in the league. I don't think he's been that good, but he's been good, and the supporting cast has helped elevate his game even further.
Is he a top 10 quarterback this year?
Yeah, we have him at number 7 overall as a passer. So yeah, he's in that top. He's definitely in that top 10 range right now, especially in a year where there hasn't really been elite quarterback play across the NFL. Nobody's really standing out. So Stafford's they've got the best passing production in the league, and he's at number 7 in our passing grade so far this year.
Rodgers has been pretty elite.
Yeah, I think people are forgetting a couple of Rodgers games in here because week 1 he had that game against the Saints where he was terrible. They lost 38-3. It was pretty much the same thing we just saw from Tom Brady the other night. It just happened, months ago. So I think people forget it. And honestly, the game they won 17-0 against the Seattle Seahawks, he was just as bad through an end zone interception. He was not good in that particular game. So Rodgers has had a few duds, and he has not been, I don't think, as good throw for throw as he was last year in that MVP season.
Yeah, but 30 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's an off year.
No, I get it. He also has 12 turnover-worthy plays because, again, we track this stuff. So he's got but he's one of the best in the league.
Wait, explain that, Steve. Turnover-worthy.
Yeah. So we're grading every player in every play. So we're going in there and saying, if you misread the play and throw the ball two-way linebacker, say, whether or not the linebacker catches the ball, it's a bad play, right? If it's caught, it's an interception. If it's not, it's the same bad play. So Rodgers has gotten away with a few of those plays this year, more than usual. He's still one of the best at taking care of the ball. But that's why I don't always look directly at touchdown to interception ratio, because in this particular case, Rodgers' interception totals, it's lying a little bit this year, I think, compared to previous seasons.
I don't know what to make of Jalen Hurts. I find him a valuable weapon, but I don't know, unless Philadelphia embraces him like Baltimore did with Lamar Jackson, then it feels like that question's always going to loom there with him. Is he the right quarterback, franchise quarterback? How do you grade Jalen Hurts? Because what he gives you is not normal from quarterback's perspective.
Yeah, I think it took them a few weeks to figure out they need to play this style of football. And now that style of football being this team that can run for 150, 200 yards every single week and use Jalen Hurts in the design running game. They had games earlier this year where it was just throw. And look, I'm a pass game enthusiast. I love that. But when you have a Jalen Hurts, a quarterback who brings value in the design running game, it's tough to defend. And I think you see a game like last night where Jalen Hurts is used in the design run game. It opens things up for the running backs. You run play action off of that. You can win with that in the NFL, right? You can do that. And then what do you make of Jalen Hurts? The tough part's going to be, do you want to sign him long term, right? Has he done enough there? I think he's good on a rookie contract, right? You could do some cool stuff on a rookie contract, building this great roster around him. Don't necessarily know if I want to lock him up long term. We're still a little over a year into his career, so hey, he can improve. So in other words, he's a good enough passer, and in playing that style opens up throws. Lamar Jackson has more open throws than other quarterbacks because the defense has to account for him and that rushing attack, and it creates open receivers. Jalen Hurts brings that to the table as well, so you can mitigate some of the maybe lack of polish in the pocket that Jalen Hurts has.
Is Carson Wentz a positive or a negative for the Colts?
Can I say neutral? He's neutral. I mean, he's a league average quarterback, and he has for a while. I think he's been more positive than negative this year, though. He's generally taking care of the ball. He did not take care of the ball on Saturday night against the Patriots. He was pretty bad in that game, and they got away with it. But overall, you take away the game with the river rain, on Sunday Night Football against the Niners. Carson Wentz has done a really nice job of taking care of the ball. And when you do that, when you have the Colts offensive line and Jonathan Taylor, you can win some games, right? And they've scored a ton of points. They've got Michael Pittman emerging. Wentz does get the ball to him pretty well. So I think it's been more positive than negative, but I don't think Wentz is out there carrying the team or anything like he did, say, in 2017.
Yeah, but when you say, boy, he takes care of the ball, that doesn't have a franchise quarterback sound to it. Should the Colts be in the market for another quarterback, an upgrade?
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to be challenged with that contract and everything, but I'm generally of the mind, unless you have one of, say, the top 8 quarterbacks in the league, and defining those probably harder than ever, harder than it was, 5 or 6 years ago. If you don't have one of those guys, I think you're always in the market because, yeah, you want a guy that can elevate those around you, not do what I just described, taking care of the ball and relying on everyone else to kind of carry you.
The Seahawks offense is not good because what, why, who?
They have Shane Waldron's the new offensive coordinator, and they've been early in the season. They were a little top heavy. Russ makes those special throws down the field a couple times a game. Overall, it looks efficient. They're just play by play. They're not good. It's the intermediate level of the field that they're not attacking. So I think there's a little bit of play calling. There's a little bit of Russell Wilson in there. That 10 to 19 yard range in this new offense just has been non-existent. So it's been a bunch of short passes. Russ hits a couple bombs over the top, and then you have a game like last night when he doesn't hit those bombs. This offense is terrible. So it's just there's not enough high percentage quality plays in this offense, and I think that's a combination of Shane Waldron as offensive coordinator, this new system just not meshing with Russell Wilson's skill set, and plus Russell Wilson's just not playing nearly as well as he did for the majority of last year, 2018, the rest of his career. Whether that's partly the finger injury, we're just not seeing the same Russell Wilson for the most part this season.
How do you rate Cooper Kupp's season?
Man, it's incredible. I mean, I think, he's got that triple crown of receptions and yards and touchdowns and everything, but he's good at everything, right? I mean, he's great after the catch. He's good at getting open against man coverage. He's got a great feel for zone. Him and Matthew Stafford have just had an incredible connection as far as being on the same page. So Kupp's been the best. He's the best receiver in the league this year. But
if somebody hadn't seen Cooper Kupp play, how would you describe him?
I would say he's an uber slot receiver who took his game from gets open underneath and, has a good feel for the game. He had taken his game to the next level where you can't leave him one-on-one, and he can win at every level of the field like the best receivers can. And then the Rams put him in good position to succeed as well. So very good all-around receiver, does everything well, sure-handed, great after the catch, creates big plays.
But is he Devontae Adams category? Is he a healthy DeAndre Hopkins category? Or, there's quite a few great receivers, but Cooper Kupp is having one of the greatest seasons of all time.
I think he's a step below those guys because you do have a built-in advantage when you're in the slot, right? So and that's where he does most of his work. I don't think you just drop Cooper Kupp into Green Bay's offense and say, hey, go beat Devontae Adams, right? Go beat man coverage as often as you do. So he's a step below those true outside X receivers, but it's one of the best slot receiver seasons of all time, which is, technically a little bit easier, but at this level of production, Cooper Kupp, it's definitely a special season.
I see what you said, a step below. Here it comes down to 40-yard dash time. I see what you're doing, Steve.
I'm just a speed guy. Give me all the fast guys.
Is Lamar Jackson improving?
No, he's not. Earlier this season, I may have said yes, but the last few weeks, prior to his injury, were pretty bad, and it was a lot of decision-making stuff, right? It was a lot of just him throwing into coverage, and the curious part here is I think he's got his best group of playmakers that he's had in his entire career, with Marquise Brown breaking out, with Rashad Bateman there, with Sammy Watkins, and what Mark Andrews continuing to take his game to the next level. This should have been not maybe the best statistical season for Lamar because his MVP season was great, but this should have been a much better season for Lamar Jackson. And I think the last few weeks he's taken a step back in his development where he's just not seeing the field very well.
The Packers, Chiefs, grade out as the two best teams right now?
Yeah, I think trending wise too, the Chiefs defense, I think they went on a run. I still don't know that they're necessarily championship caliber. I think the Chiefs offense has shown flashes of being what they were before, but they're not exactly where they were, but it's dangerous enough. And I think the Packers, part of the intrigue with the Packers is maybe David Bakhtiari is going to come back. Maybe, Jair Alexander is going to come back at some point. The Packers last year, I think, were very reliant on just Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and Jair, like the top-heavy roster. They're able to win in other ways now with guys like Rasul Douglas and Devondre Campbell stepping up on defense. So love the way the Packers are trending, and they're getting other good players back. So, yeah, I think the top two seeds, Packers and Chiefs, are the two best teams in the NFL right now.
Thank you, Steve. As always, Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining us. My best to everybody at Pro Football Focus.
Thank you, Dan. Merry Christmas to you and all the viewers.
That's Steve Palazzolo.